Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Tanvi Taneja, and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day as opposition parties protest demanding immediate discussion over farm laws. Investors continue to chair the union budget as Sensex breaches 50,000 mark today. Industrialists, economists, banking and tax experts hail Budget 2021 as visionary and reformative. Central teams to visit Kerala and Maharashtra to support the states in COVID-19 management. National COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 97.05%. Over 39,50,000 people vaccinated so far. And United States threatens to reimpose sanctions against Myanmar in view of the military coup. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin this bulletin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focusing on hand hygiene and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Rajya Sabha today had to be adjourned for the day following 3-hour-long adjournments after opposition parties demanded rollback of the new farm laws. The members of the opposition parties trooped into the well and started sloganeering over the issues of farmers' protest. They also demanded to start a discussion on the farmers' issues in the House. Earlier, on the demands of the opposition parties, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu assured the members that discussion will be held tomorrow.
I have allowed the leader of the opposition to mention the gist of the notice. So, keeping that in mind, you will be discussing tomorrow. Nobody is going to stop you from discussing these issues. Please, the notices given for 0 hour today, they will be carried forward. They will not lapse. These 0 hour notices will not lapse. They will be carried forward. Now, please, nobody is allowed to speak now. Once the chair has given a decision, please accept that. And tomorrow you will get an opportunity, whatever you want to say, highlight the issues for my community.
Mr. Naidu said several rounds of talks have already taken place between the government and the farmers, and the President has also referred to the farmers' agitations in his address. Opposition parties have given notices for suspension of business and demanded to resolve the farmers' issues. Opposition parties including the Congress, the DMK, the Renewable Congress, the Samajwadi Party, the RJD, the Aam Aadmi Party, among others, raised the issues of farmers' protest and demanded to start a discussion on it on an urgent basis. Opposition parties said that it is a matter of national importance and the government should discuss this issue at the earliest. When the opposition party's demand was not accepted, they staged a walkout from the upper house. Meanwhile, the Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up the motion of thanks on the President's address later today. The new and renewable energy ministry said that around 137 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity has been installed in the country, which is 36.48% of the total installed electricity generation capacity in the country. In a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today, Minister of State for New and Renewable Energy, R.K. Singh, said the government has taken several steps to promote renewable energy in the country. He informed that foreign direct investment up to 100% under the automatic route has been permitted by the government, and the project development cell has been set up for attracting and facilitating investment. He said India has committed that 40% of its installed power generation capacity shall be from non-fossil fuel by the end of 2030 as a part of intended nationally determined contributions as per the Paris Accord.
Investors continue to cheer the budget 2021 as Sensex breached 50,000 in the early trade and Nifty reclaimed 14,600, led by gains in infrastructure and banking. Equity benchmark indices jumped by nearly 3% during the early hours today as investors continued the positive reaction to the union budget amid strong global cues. At the morning trade, Sensex was up by 1,312 points or 2.7% at 49,912, while the Nifty 50 edged higher by 390 points or 2.73% to 14,671. All sectoral indices at the National Stock Exchange were in the positive terrain. Industrialists, economists, banking and tax experts hailed Budget 2021 as visionary and reformative. ASSOCHAM President Vinit Agarwal has said that the Finance Minister has given a booster dose to the economy through 6 pillars of mega rise in capital expenditure on healthcare, physical infrastructure, without putting much pressure on the taxpayers. Talking to AI News, FICCI President Uday Shankar said, "This is a very good and progressive budget."
I think it's a very, very good budget. Outstanding. We were all concerned that given how difficult it is, how tough the times are, will there be enough focus on growth? Will the government be able to avoid putting pain and burden on the people? I think the Finance Minister has done an exceptional job of managing both of those. It's very focused on growth. There are some very innovative ideas for augmenting government's resources without putting additional burden on either the corporate sector and entrepreneurs or ordinary people.
Jammu Chamber of Commerce and Industry JCCI has welcomed the Union Budget 2021. President of JCCI Arun Gupta said that Modi government's announcement of increasing the budget for the health sector is appreciable.
बजट बहुत अच्छा है। इसमें हेल्थ सेक्टर को बड़ी तवज्जो दी गई है। जिस तरह से 137% हेल्थ सेक्टर का बढ़ना, वो मैं समझता हूं कि फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने प्रत्येक व्यक्ति को सोच करके बनाया है इस बजट को।
The Economists and Industry Chambers of West Bengal have also welcomed the Union Budget. The President of Bengal National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Dr. Orpon Mitro, lauded the Union Finance Minister for allocating 20,000 crore rupees for the public sector banks.
This budget has rightly recognized the imperatives of agricultural and fishery and rural development with thrust on solar energy and rural connectivity sectors, including MSMEs, education for all, entrepreneurship, skill development and startup. I also appreciate the Honorable Finance Minister for allocating 20,000 crores to the public sector banks who will need this capital very much at this point after the pandemic. The announcement of allocation of rupees 95,000 crores on roads in West Bengal and rupees 1,000 crores for tea workers in Assam and Bengal are definitely a major step for all-round improvement of the state.
Member Niti Aayog Health Dr. V.K. Paul said that this budget will be a game changer for the health sector.
वो सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम है, उसका नाम है पीएम आत्मनिर्भर स्वास्थ्य भारत। अभी तक हमारे पास नेशनल हेल्थ मिशन हमारा मेन व्हीकल था स्टेट्स के साथ काम करने के लिए एक सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम के तौर पर। वो तो चलेगी ही और उसमें भी और तेज गति लाई जाएगी, एनर्जी लाई जाएगी, बहुत काम किया जाएगा। लेकिन अब एक नया कार्यक्रम शुरू हुआ है और उसके ऊपर 64,000 करोड़ रुपए खर्च होंगे और उसमें बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पिलर्स हैं, उसके बहुत बड़े बदलाव की तरफ हमें लेके जाता है। इसमें बहुत सारा फोकस जो है वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे भी है।
Industrialist Ajay Shah from Sangli has expressed satisfaction for special attention given to improve the infrastructure in various sectors as well as the priority given to the health sector.
I'd like to say that in medical sector, in situations of COVID, health sector has been allocated a good budget which may sort out issues in common man. Regarding infrastructure, highways, railways, lot of amount has been planned. So we hope to see a improved highways and infrastructure. Regarding change in situations in COVID, Finance Minister has provided Atmanirbhar Health Abhiyan which may create good impact on medical field.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the budget will bring positive changes for individuals, industry, investors and infrastructure sector. Calling it historic, Mr. Modi said the vision of self-reliance can be seen in the budget. He said villages and farmers are at the heart of this budget. The Prime Minister was sharing his views on the budget through a video message yesterday.
देश में एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को मजबूती देने के लिए, किसानों की आय बढ़ाने के लिए बजट में बहुत जोर दिया गया है, कई प्रावधान किए गए हैं। एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में किसानों को और आसानी से और ज्यादा ऋण मिल सकेगा। देश की मंडियों को यानी एपीएमसी को और मजबूत करने के लिए, सशक्त करने के लिए एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड से मदद का प्रावधान किया गया है। ये सब निर्णय ये दिखाते हैं इस बजट के दिल में गांव है, हमारे किसान है। एमएसएमई सेक्टर को गति देने के लिए, रोजगार के अवसर बढ़ाने के लिए इस बार एमएसएमई सेक्टर का बजट भी पिछले साल की तुलना में 2 गुना से ज्यादा कर दिया गया है। ये बजट आत्मनिर्भरता के उस रास्ते को लेकर आगे बढ़ा है जिसमें देश के हर नागरिक की प्रगति शामिल है।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had presented the Union Budget 2021-22 in the Lok Sabha yesterday. The budget laid a vision for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. The Finance Minister said Atmanirbhar Bharat is an expression of 130 crore Indians who have full confidence in their capabilities and skills.
Our manufacturing companies need to become an integral part of global supply chains, possess core competence and cutting-edge technology. To achieve all of the above, PLI schemes to create manufacturing global champions for an Atmanirbhar Bharat have been announced for 13 sectors. For this, the government has committed nearly 1.97 lakh crores over 5 years starting this financial year. This initiative will help bring scale and size in key sectors, create and nurture global champions and provide jobs to our youth.
To promote affordable housing in the country, the government has extended till 31st of March 2022 the eligibility for additional deduction of interest amounting to 1.5 lakh rupees for the loan taken to purchase an affordable house. To keep up the supply of affordable houses, the minister said that affordable housing projects can avail a tax holiday for 1 more year till 31st of March 2022.
We are committed to promote supply of affordable rental housing for migrant workers. For this, I propose to allow tax exemption for notified affordable rental housing projects.
To provide adequate credit to farmers, the government has enhanced the agricultural credit target to 16.5 lakh crore rupees in the next fiscal, with focus on ensuring increased credit flows to animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries. The government has also enhanced the allocation to the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund from 30,000 to 40,000 crore rupees. It has enlarged the scope of Operation Green scheme to include 22 perishable products besides tomatoes, onions and potatoes. A new centrally sponsored scheme, Prime Minister Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, will be launched with an outlay of about 64,180 crores over 6 years. This will be in addition to the National Health Mission. 35,000 crore rupees were already allotted for COVID-19 vaccines in the budget estimate 2021-22. Further funds will be provided if required. Senior citizens of 75 years of age and having only pension income are exempted from filing their income tax returns.
Relief to senior citizens. I begin my direct tax proposals by offering my pranam to our senior citizens. Many of them, despite having foregone several basic necessities of their own, have strived to build our nation. Now in the 75th year of independence of our country, when we continue our endeavor with renewed vigor, we shall reduce compliance burden on our senior citizens who are 75 years of age and above. For senior citizens who only have pension and interest income, I propose exemption from filing their income tax returns.
The government increased the FDI limit from 49 to 74% in insurance companies and allowed foreign ownership and control with safeguards. It has been proposed to infuse 20,000 crore rupees to recapitalize public sector banks. In school education, more than 15,000 schools will be qualitatively strengthened to include all components of the national education policy. The government will also set up 100 new Sainik schools in partnership with NGOs, private schools and states. The government will also set up a central university in Leh to ensure access to higher education in Ladakh. The fiscal deficit for the financial year 2021-22 has been pegged at 6.8%.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today stressed on producing defence equipment under the Atmanirbhar Bharat program, saying that India cannot remain dependent on other countries for the defence of a country. He was speaking after inaugurating Hindustan Aeronautics Limited HAL Second Light Combat Aircraft LCA production line in the Bangalore facilities of HAL.
इंडिजनाइजेशन को, स्वदेशीकरण को जितना भी हम बल दे सकते हैं हम वो बल देना चाहिए और उस पर हमको कदम आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए. और हम सभी का यह संकल्प है कि हम जो भी बनाना होगा डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स, प्लेटफॉर्म्स, वेपन्स, कोशिश हमारी यह है कि हम खुद बनाएंगे और सीमा की और अपने स्वाभिमान की दोनों की सुरक्षा भी करेंगे। आत्मनिर्भर भारत का हमारा यह संकल्प भी पूरा हुआ है और दोनों टेक्नोलॉजिकल और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में हम आत्मनिर्भर बनना चाहते हैं। यह संदेश केवल भारत की सीमा तक ही नहीं रहेगा बल्कि दुनिया के दूसरे देशों तक यह संदेश चला जाएगा कि भारत को आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाने में गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया बहुत ही गंभीर है। यह संदेश सारी दुनिया को जाएगा, ऐसा मेरा मानना है।
The Defence Minister said the Cabinet Committee on Security, CCS, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on January 13, 2021, approved the Rs 48,000 crore deal to produce 73 Tejas Make 1A variants and 10 LCA Tejas Make 1 trainer aircraft from the HAL.
जल्दी से जल्दी और भी नए ऑर्डर्स EHL को मिलें, ये हम लोगों की कोशिश होगी। कोविड की इतनी महामारी के बावजूद 48,000 करोड़ का ऑर्डर आर्म्ड फोर्सेस की तरफ से आपको ये मिल गया है और मैं कह सकता हूं कि इंडिजिनस डिफेंस प्रोक्योरमेंट के इतिहास में यह सबसे बड़ा प्रोक्योरमेंट है जो इंडियन एरो स्पेस सेक्टर को एक नई हाइट देगी, यह भी हमारा विश्वास है।
The Defence Minister will be attending Aero India show scheduled to be held from tomorrow for 3 days at the Yelahanka Air Force Station in Bangalore. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day as opposition parties protest demanding immediate discussion over farm laws. Investors continue to cheer union budget as Sensex breaches 50,000 mark today. Industrialists, economists, banking and tax experts hail Budget 2021 as visionary and reformative. Central teams to visit Kerala and Maharashtra to support the states in COVID-19 management. National COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 97.05%. Over 39,50,000 people vaccinated so far. And United States threatens to reimpose sanctions against Myanmar in view of military coup. And for quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at EIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
The centre has decided to depute 2 high-level, multidisciplinary teams to Kerala and Maharashtra for supporting the states in public health interventions for COVID-19 management. The Union Health Ministry said currently these 2 states alone are contributing to almost 70% active COVID-19 cases in the country. It said at a time when almost all states and union territories are showing a declining trend in the number of cases and deaths due to COVID-19, Kerala and Maharashtra continue to report large number of cases. The central team to Maharashtra comprises experts drawn from National Centre for Disease Control and Dr. RML Hospital, New Delhi. The Kerala team comprises senior officials from the Ministry of Health, along with experts from Regional Office of Health and Family Welfare, Thiruvananthapuram, and Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi. The national COVID-19 recovery rate has touched 97.05%. as 13,423 people were discharged in the last 24 hours. In the same period, 8,655 new COVID-19 cases have also been reported. With this, the total cases have reached 1,07,66,245. The Health Ministry said as of now, 1,04,48,406 people have been discharged. In the last 24 hours, 94 deaths were reported and the death toll has reached 1,54,486. Active cases now stand at 1,63,353. The government today said that more than 39,50,000 beneficiaries have received the vaccination so far under the countrywide COVID-19 vaccination exercise. The Union Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, more than 1,91,000 healthcare workers were vaccinated across 3,516 sessions. The number of beneficiaries being vaccinated every day has been continuously showing a progressive increase. Uttar Pradesh stands at the top position with over 4,63,000 jabs followed by Rajasthan, Karnataka and Maharashtra.
In Bihar, 37,572 health workers were vaccinated for COVID-19 during the past 24 hours. With this, 1,83,756 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. No side effect has been reported from any part of the state. Meanwhile, 2,58,136 patients have recovered for the COVID-19 infection in Bihar. In Jharkhand, 55% of beneficiaries were vaccinated for COVID and new cases continue to decline in the state. More from a Ranchi correspondent.
With over 98.66% recovery in the number of COVID-19 patients in Jharkhand, there are no active cases remaining in 17 out of 24 districts of the state. Meanwhile, the vaccination drive for COVID-19 is being carried on with full swing. A total of 48,013 people have been administered with the Covishield vaccine till today. Preparations for the second phase of the COVID vaccination drive is on in the state capital. Principal Secretary Health KK Sohn has today made visits to the COVID vaccination centers at RIMS and Sadar Hospital to assess the current situation. Shilpi, AIR News, Ranchi.
More than 2,48,000 patients have recovered from COVID infection so far in Madhya Pradesh, with 260 patients recovered yesterday. More from a Bhopal correspondent.
In Madhya Pradesh, 151 new positive cases were reported yesterday. COVID positivity rate is consistently declining in the state and stands at 1.0%. 24 districts recorded no positive cases yesterday. With 2 patients succumbing to the infection, the death toll rose to 3,812. Meanwhile, over 2,98,000 people were vaccinated across the state. Mop-up sessions will be conducted on February 3rd for healthcare workers who missed the vaccination in the first round. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Gujarat, 34,440 frontline staff were given COVID-19 vaccination yesterday. According to the State Health Department, a total of 3,51,904 people have received vaccines in the state till now. More from an Ahmedabad correspondent.
Vaccination drive against the COVID-19 has been carried out at 807 vaccination centers yesterday. Meanwhile, 2,54,109 patients have been recovered in the state from COVID-19 till now. The recovery rate has reached up to 97.05%. 298 new cases reported from Gujarat during the last 24 hours. Maximum 77 new cases reported from Vadodara, while Ahmedabad recorded 64 new cases. Number of active cases in the state reduced to 3,341. Out of these, 30 patients are on ventilators. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
National Testing Agency will conduct the next UGC NET examination for Junior Research Fellowship and eligibility for Assistant Professor posts starting from 2nd of May. The test will be conducted in computer-based test mode only. The candidates who desire to appear for the examination has to apply online between 2nd of February to 2nd of March.
The government has extended the last date for submission of nomination for the prestigious Nari Shakti Puraskar 2020 till 6th of February. The awards are conferred every year on the occasion of International Women's Day on 8th of March by the Ministry of Women and Child Development for recognizing exceptional work done by individuals in the area of empowerment of women. The Nari Shakti Puraskar is awarded to individuals, groups, NGOs and institutions for encouraging women to participate in decision-making roles, women's skill development in traditional and non-traditional sectors, promoting women in non-traditional sectors like science and technology, sports, art, culture, and for the significant work towards safety and security. The award carries a citation and cash reward of 2 lakh rupees. As per the guidelines, any individual of at least 25 years of age and institutions having worked in the relevant field for at least 5 years are eligible to apply. The United States has threatened to reimpose sanctions against Myanmar in view of the seizure of power by the military and detention of Aung San Suu Kyi and other leaders of the civilian government. President Joe Biden called the developments in Myanmar as a direct assault on the country's transition to democracy and the rule of law. He called upon the international community to press the Myanmar military to immediately relinquish power and release the activists and officials. The UN Security Council is due to meet today amid calls for strong global response to the military action in Myanmar. More than 24 hours after her detention, the whereabouts of Aung San Suu Kyi remains unknown, according to reports. Earlier, UN spokesman Stephanie Dujarric said the international community should speak in one voice.
Secretary General strongly condemned the detention of Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, the state councilor, as well as President U Win Myint and other political leaders. And that was obviously on the eve of the opening session of Myanmar's new parliament. Mr. Guterres said he expressed his grave concern regarding this declaration of the transfer of all legislative, executive, and judicial powers to the military. These developments represent a serious blow to democratic reforms in Myanmar. The Secretary General stresses that the November 8th general election provide a strong mandate for the National League for Democracy, reflecting the clear will of the people of Myanmar to continue on their hard-won path to democratic reform.
In the meantime, the new army regime has announced the new cabinet with 11 ministers, while 24 deputy ministers were removed from their posts. The National League for Democracy, NLD, headed by the deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi, has issued a statement denouncing the coup and called for immediate release of the detainees, recognition of 2020 election results and starting of new parliament. Indian-American Bhavya Lal has been appointed by NASA as the acting chief of staff of the U.S. Space Agency yesterday. In a statement, NASA said Lal brings an extensive experience in engineering and space technology, serving as a member of the research staff at the Institute for Defense Analysis Science and Technology Policy Institute from 2005 to 2020. Today is World Wetlands Day. The day is celebrated every year on this day to raise global awareness about the vital role of wetlands for people and the planet Earth. This day also marks the date of the adoption of the Convention on Wetlands on 2nd February 1971 in the Iranian city of Ramsar on the shores of the Caspian Sea. The theme of this year's World Wetlands Day is Wetlands and Water. The theme spotlights wetlands as a source of fresh water and encourages actions to restore them and stop their loss. The 2021 campaign highlights the contribution of wetlands to the quantity and quality of fresh water on our planet.
In West Bengal, almost all the districts are under the grip of biting cold for the past 2 days. The Met Department has issued cold wave condition warning for the districts in Gangetic West Bengal, except Howrah and Hooghly, and a few districts of North Bengal today. In Kolkata, the minimum temperature dipped to 11.5 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees below normal. In few districts, temperature fell below 7 degrees from normal. In Darjeeling district, the lowest temperature recorded this morning was 4.2 degrees Celsius. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for the day. In Jammu and Kashmir, Srinagar will likely to experience light snow. The temperature will hover between -5 and 5 degrees Celsius. In Jammu, the minimum temperature is around 8 degrees Celsius, while the maximum would be around 21 degrees, with mainly clear sky. Leh is witnessing partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature is -11 degrees Celsius, while the maximum would be around 2 degrees. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between -3 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the temperature will hover between 5 and 16 degrees Celsius. Dehradun is experiencing mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature is 6 degrees Celsius, whereas the maximum will be around 23 degrees. Chandigarh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature is likely to hover between 6 and 23 degrees Celsius. National capital Delhi experienced fog in the morning. There was haze in the air during the day. The minimum temperature was 6.2 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 27 degrees. Mumbai is witnessing mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. Chennai will be witnessing partly cloudy sky late in the day. The temperature will vary between 23 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is experiencing mainly clear sky. The city observed minimum temperature of 11 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 25 degrees. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature is around 16 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 31 degrees. The city will witness partly cloudy sky late in the day, and Ahmedabad is witnessing a clear sky.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day as opposition parties protest demanding immediate discussion over farm laws. Investors continue to cheer union budget as Sensex breaches the 50,000 mark today. Industrialists, economists, banking and tax experts hail budget 2021 as visionary and reformative. Central teams to visit Kerala and Maharashtra to support the states in COVID-19 management. National COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 97.05%. Over 39,50,000 people vaccinated so far. And United States threatens to reimpose sanctions against Myanmar in view of the military coup. And with that, we end the Midday News.